It is a beautiful day outside, a little chilly at night, but it's a beautiful day. A lot of sunshine, everything good going on outside. And this is Three Guys Who Love Sports. My name is Chuck Burridge. We're here to support guys that are going through mental and physical issues. If we can help them for an hour a week, so can you. Everybody does a little. Nobody has to do a lot. So very happy to be here, along with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kennedy. Robert, how are you, buddy?
I'm a little chilly today.
It was a little chilly. You know, I asked them if they were serving chili, speaking of chili, and they don't do any chili dishes.
It's weird how weather can control your food options. Wait, it's chilly. Wait, chili?
Yeah, speaking of food options, what did you go with? You went Mimi's.
I went Mimi's. Look, it was real simple for me. The cook has been making one Mimi's every Wednesday night for so long, I didn't want them to get freaked out when nobody ordered one, because they'd be like...
Did somebody tell you I didn't get Mimi's?
Somebody did tell me that. That's why I went that direction.
Oh, wow. It was Larry.
Getting fajitas for the first time in many, many moons.
There you go.
Fajitas. Were they steak or chicken?
Yes.
Only chicken.
They
don't have
yeah,
steak anymore.
Yeah. All right. Larry, what did you go with?
I went with the French dip.
French dip.
That's good for a cold day.
I got called that a lot when I was in the French club in high school. The French dip. And I'm sure
what
Adam,
does that even
Adam
mean?
went with you went with your regular
I went
hamburger.
with a hamburger.
How come my mic is? It doesn't feel like it's working half the time. There it is. It's back.
You sound fine to me.
Okay. It just feels like it's fading in and out. Let's get on with the show, but let's get a commercial out of the way before we move on.
Still worried about this French dip, but we'll talk after the show about that. There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castro Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operator business where you'll find Brian under our car hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer Castro products.
Yes, and thank you, Brian Briscoe, for being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. We're bringing back one of our good friends, Mr. Ian King. Ian, welcome back, buddy. Listen to that crowd.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You know, when in SNL, they always talk about being on 5 times, and like that's the big thing. I don't know what we have, but I think you are the leader in the clubhouse, sir.
I think so, but I think that's good. You know, I thought about it. You know, we keep bringing on new people on, but all these other sports shows, they bring people on all the time. Belichick's on with the Mannings all the time.
Does Belichick talk? Or does he just wear a hoodie?
No, he's great on the show. He's really good.
He is good.
Have you not watched
I do like Bill Belichick.
the Peyton and Eli version of
usually,
Monday Night Football?
You don't watch Peyton and Eli on Monday night?
That's much better than the football game. Much
I
better.
mean, I hate Joe Buck, so I'm biased, but...
Yeah.
I like it for about a half. I can do about a quarter of it.
And I've watched it a couple
Very
times.
Entertaining, yeah.
Maybe I'll tune in again to see what Darth Hoodie has to say. But
all right. Well, let's talk some college football first. Big weekend this past weekend, and one of the reasons we won't have Ian on is his Penn State Nittany Lions came from way behind.
We are
against the Trojans and took them out in overtime. 23-20, is that what it was? Or 33-30?
33-30.
Yeah. They missed. Southern Cal missed a field goal. You guys came down and kicked one, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Relieved. You know, USC is always one of those opponents on the calendar that we have not had our best games against. And in the series, 11 games all time, they are still leading us 6-5. That is our 5th win over them. We have never beat them in the Rose Bowl, unfortunately, but we have beat them previously. The 3 times that we've played in the Rose Bowl in 1923, 2008, and
you were there, right, Chuck?
Rose Bowl? Not that time.
Not
no.
that time.
And 2017, I believe, or 2016, all those times that we played in the Rose Bowl against USC, we had lost every single time, unfortunately.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm going to go ahead and have my quick rant. I'm right a lot of times about, don't forget about this team, watch this team. But here's a team that I thought was going to fall short and fall on their faces. And when you look at that 20-6 at halftime, everything was there for you to do so, and you didn't. You guys recovered, you played, and I'm excited to see, bye week, and then Rutgers, and then Ohio State, or something along those lines. So.
Yep. So at Wisconsin, next weekend.
Wisconsin, Rutgers. I knew it was one of those red teams.
Although, Wisconsin, Camp Randall Stadium is a hard place to play.
Definitely.
Penn State has not had the best of luck there. A lot of teams don't have the best of luck there because, the Wisconsin fans are fantastic fans, and they are very loud fans. And so that's a difficult place to play. But at the end of the day, Wisconsin this year is not, as stout as they normally are. But I'm hopeful that Penn State pulls out the dub and comes out. And
one of their running backs walked off a couple of weeks ago. Medici, Italian running back for Wisconsin, said he was going to redshirt and not play for the rest of the year and go somewhere else. So the Penn State-Ohio State game now really means a lot.
Yeah, it does. And actually, I got to be real with you. I think that Ohio State will come in after this loss to Oregon, come in and beat Penn State, unfortunately. But
it's a whiteout game at
It
Penn
is a
State?
whiteout. It is a whiteout, but here's the thing. This is going to only help Penn State, get to the playoff and be on that playoff track, because at the end of the day, if they have that one loss to Ohio State, that means the Big Ten championship is going to be a rematch of the Oregon-Ohio State game.
That's
Correct.
why it's so big, yeah.
Absolutely.
This was a huge game, because if USC holds on, they're 4-2, you're 5-1 or something like that, and now you're both vying for that same spot. By putting them down to 3-3, it really starts to distance the big teams,
The cream of the crop,
the cream of the Big Ten from the rest of them. Because as you said, USC, regardless of their record, man, they look good getting off the bus. They got a lot of 5-star players at every position, and it was a great game for you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The other big OT game of the night was LSU and Ole Miss. Man, what a game that was. I have Nussmeier hits a 4th and 5, and the guy scores on a touchdown to send it to overtime. And then here comes LSU, and they score again. That was quite the game.
It was. And LSU.
LSU. I think we all picked them, actually, to win that game, and they did.
Yeah, LSU is one of those teams that's coming along. That slow start with that loss against USC.
In Southern Cal, so they lost their first game of the year.
And they are coming along. And so it's just a matter of, hey, how are they going to finish?
Well, you're absolutely right. And, and I put them in my original Final 12. And then after week 1 and week 2 and week 3, I kept mentioning, don't worry, LSU's coming, one game at a time, 1 week at a time. Now when you look at it and you go, okay, they're finally starting to get a little bit of quarterback play out of this whole thing.
That's right.
Not easy to lose a Heisman Trophy winner and dominate. But.
Yep. So 2 good ball games. I mean, there were other good ball games. The
Tennessee
Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee in overtime. But I think the game of the week was definitely Ohio State and Oregon. I don't know if you watched that game or not.
Dan Lanning is a genius.
The 12-man penalty.
Dan Lanning so
that was
much.
awesome. Yeah.
So has he said that's what he did on purpose?
Yes.
And
the NCAA has
They made a
essentially
decision about it
outlawed that.
today. Yeah.
Well,
They've launched an investigation.
And I was texting with my buddy who is a referee, a Big 12 referee, and I said, we're talking and going back and forth, and I said, they have to outlaw it, and they'll have to outlaw it quickly if there's proof. And he says, and one friend comes on and he says, well, what if they did it by accident? Sorry, there are no more accidents. You got a 12-man on the field in the final 2 minutes, you're getting the death penalty because of this play. Because who knows, maybe it's happened before. This is just the first person to say, yeah, I did that.
Again, the media knows too much. And the first time they pointed it out, it's probably been done 100 times.
Could have been.
As far as you know,
but it's such a crazy play to think of. If they fumble, if there's a bad snap, if there's an interception, sorry, the other teme still got the ball. So
Absolutely.
It's you got to be a little crazy to do it, but man, what a call, and it worked.
It did work well, and I really, man, I'd hate to say I'd like to see Ohio State and Oregon play again, but with Ian here, I'd really like to see Penn State and Oregon play in the Big Ten championship. Now, it could be just like we were talking about earlier in the year about Alabama and Georgia could play 3 times. Ohio State and Oregon could play 3 times.
Sure, that is a
easily.
possibility.
If Oregon beats Penn State, there's a good chance that the 2 will play for the Big Ten. And then who knows where they wind up in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And once again, going back to the original thing on the playoffs, the same way that your March Madness bracket has Duke on this side and Carolina here, they'll try to split that up to where you don't see that game again unless it's for all the marbles.
Unless it's for all the marbles. We hope so, but, it's only 12 teams. There's only so much finagling you can do.
Now, is it good to poke the bear?
Yes,
the
poke
sleeping
the bear.
bear.
Go ahead.
Because if it was me and I was Oregon and I was playing this game again, or maybe if I'm Penn State during a whiteout getting ready to play, I might just throw second base out in the middle of the field and point it out to Will Howard and see if he wants to slide. Because that was the craziest crap I've ever seen.
But it was a correct call. He was late sliding.
yes.
No doubt about it. There was no 1 second left on the clock.
Definitely not, because you still have to have a referee. You have to blow a whistle.
You got to
have
give him a second
all
to
sorts
do that.
All
Absolutely.
sorts of things. So it was a horrible, horrific call
The minute
on
he
his
pumped
part.
and he didn't throw the ball, I said, that's the ball game.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It absolutely was.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
I
a
do
horrible
too.
way for a great game to end, but, that's
Now,
what happens.
now, my personal, deep down, what I really wanted to happen, I wanted Ohio State to end up winning. I wanted to see Georgia go ahead and beat Texas.
Won't
And
happen.
I wanted to see a number 1 versus number 2 in Happy Valley on November 2nd and seeing a whiteout with 1-2 matchup between Ohio State and Penn State. However, the football gods did not deliver my deepest desire.
But you know what that old country song says? Thank God for unanswered prayers.
There you go.
So maybe at the end of the day, you'll be happy that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah. So some very interesting football games went on this weekend. I was fixated to the TV from noon till 2:30. Again, I stayed up and watched Boise State and Hawaii play until 2:30. I had Boise State minus 20 and a half in the tub, and
They won by 21.
28-7.
Yeah.
And
So I
our
slept
boy,
well Saturday night.
our
after
boy
that.
did it again. What did he go for? 220 and
Two more
Something like
touchdowns,
that.
whatever.
Three
yeah.
touchdowns, two
He actually
touchdowns.
caught a touchdown. So I think that was one of his first.
It's very
catches.
fun to watch him play. Is that the first time you watched him play live, Robert?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Seen a
Very-
lot of his highlights, but
Yeah, a lot of the stuff, they put up these comparisons on Instagram of what he's done against Ron Dane and all these other guys that had great years, and he's just so far ahead of where those guys were after 6 games. So very excited about that. I think he's got a real shot at winning the Heisman Trophy.
There's no doubt he does, and it is exciting from the standpoint that sometimes when you're playing a lesser caliber teams on a regular basis, maybe their defenses are just not ready. The guy had 31 carries. I mean, this guy is toting the rock. This isn't 12 carries for 190 yards or something like that. This guy is they're giving it to him. So
I've heard people say, well, he's the Mountain West. He's playing against Mountain West teams. I say, but you know what? Texas is playing against people of their caliber too. So you're going to play against who you've got. And if everybody in the Mountain West is supposed to be competitive against everybody in the Mountain West, so are the people in the SEC. So I don't see that as an argument at all.
and I'm not trying to make this a Derrick Henry conversation, but
Yeah.
everybody's talking about Derrick Henry. This will be the best line he's ever run behind in Baltimore. What would happen if you took him off of Boise State and put him on Texas?
Yeah.
Or if this guy was at Camp Randall.
be an animal.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he'd be an animal.
Yeah, I mean, he has a
40
talent.
carries a game.
He has a talent that transcends, conference.
I think it does.
And so he's going to be a phenomenal, NFL talent here in the coming years.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly, because he is such a big weapon, going back to a Saquon or Zeke or even a Bijan, how high will the draft masters take a guy
See
from
him.
Boise State?
Yeah. Yeah. So, a lot of changes going on in the last couple of weeks in college football. So how has your opinion of what's going to happen in the playoff brackets changed, Robert?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
It didn't look good when I had LSU and they were 0-1, but LSU's not 0-1 anymore.
Well, I don't think any of us had Iowa State.
BYU.
Iowa State is now in there. I've seen them as high as number 1 in one bracket today.
I actually saw.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that one, but I saw Boise as the 5 seed in a bracket.
I haven't seen that. I've
And
seen
it's
them no
like,
higher than the
I
12.
don't know about that. But
Well, I actually think that they could end up,
Higher than 12.
higher than 12, maybe 11, 10, or 9. Now, it really depends on what happens with Notre Dame, because even though Notre Dame has a terrible loss against Northern Illinois
At Notre Dame.
And the upset of the century happened this year to Notre Dame, thanks to the expansion of the playoff. And as long as Notre Dame does their job and carries out what they need to do and goes on the field and plays the way that they were recruited to play, they will be in the playoff.
and
Big
as
game
lo-
this week at Mercedes-Benz, though.
As far as the algorithms for schools and stuff, Texas A&M is making Notre Dame look better each week.
Absolutely.
While
Yeah.
they're winning their games. So
Yeah.
Yeah, because that blowout was a blowout.
yeah, that was not a good game to start the year. But now you look at it and it's like A&M is slowly, methodically, chomping up the SEC.
Yeah,
So-
Notre Dame beat them at Texas A&M, too,
start
didn't
the-
they? To
correct.
start the season,
Yes. I love Notre Dame. I'm rooting for the service academies.
Yeah.
I want Navy and Army to both upset Notre Dame and
How
go
is it-
all the way to the college football playoff.
But they
How
can't.
cool is it that they're both in the
can't.
top 25?
They can't.
They can.
They can't.
Why
No,
can't they?
One of them can make it.
Because the playoff will be announced before they're done with
Before
their
the
regular
Army-Navy
season.
game.
They can still be put in the playoff.
You would not be put in the playoff with a game to go. I'm just telling you flat out. You're not going to get a 12 seed, and then you got to play next week. Oh man, you got injured. Your two best players got injured. Man, that's really a horrible call. It won't happen. I hope for their sakes, because I like to root for a good service academy as well. I hope they move that game a week earlier. Same with the SEC, Big Ten, and all those championship
The championship games
So
are
that-
week
so that-
before
so that way, if
Thanksgiving.
they're
They have
good
to
enough-
play in the American Championship. So it'd have to be before the American Championship.
Whatever it takes to make it possible. I hope they do. I hope they
Yeah,
do.
They're not
let's-
going to
let's-
change any games this year, though.
No, definitely
Oh
not.
yeah, not this year, but logistics it's way too much to overcome. But moving in the future, hopefully that they move that matchup to Thanksgiving Day weekend, just like all the other major rivalry games
Thanksgiving
are.
Day. Give all the haters who hate NFL football. I'm gonna watch Army Navy game. There you go.
Did you
Yeah.
see, by the way, did you see what Tech and Georgia are doing next year?
No,
They're playing
They're
at
playing at
MBS.
Mercedes-Benz.
Yep.
First time in 110 years it won't be played on a team's campus. That's crazy. Crazy.
and whose game is that?
Tech's.
Tech,
Tech
yeah.
gets $10 million for playing that game at MBS.
Yep.
That's called NIL
you.
money, baby. That's
Yes,
what
it
that
is.
All
is.
this payday. So
Yeah.
I will say this: looking at the playoff potential matchups, and looking at what has transpired thus far this season, is that thanks to how things have gone, I don't think that we are going to get more than 2 SEC teams into the playoff.
Oh,
Even though we are there, I don't think that we're going to see more than 2 SEC teams. I think we're going to see Texas and
Let me
we're going to
see
see
who you got.
Georgia.
Texas and Georgia only? No, that's not happening.
no LSU, no Bama.
And here's why.
Rutgers.
So here's why. Your dark horse, the dark horses I have here because of how the schedule is going is SMU, Indiana, and Pitt. Indiana has looked phenomenal this year.
Indiana hasn't played anybody.
That's right. They have not played anybody of substance yet, but their buzzsaw of the schedule is coming down to the wire because now that
off the schedule.
because now they're going to actually face the normal matchups that Penn State historically has had in the later half of the season. They're playing Michigan State. They're playing at Michigan. They're playing.
They've got Nebraska, Washington, at Michigan State, Michigan, at Ohio State, and then Purdue.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
a very daunting schedule.
no, but I don't know that you could. You don't. Do you think they're going to win Michigan or Ohio State?
So that's the question.
No, they're not
going
going to beat. They're not going to beat Michigan or Ohio State. They're not that good a football team. They haven't played anybody.
Does
No.
Nebraska take them this weekend?
They might. Dylan
I-
Raiola and Nebraska have been playing very well this year.
We got to make some picks, but I got to ask Ian a question before you. I'm looking at his list here for his top 12 all. If Georgia loses to Texas, are they still in?
Yes.
So you're saying a 2-loss Georgia will get in over a 1-loss Alabama or a 1-loss
Well, that's the thing.
Tennessee or a one-loss Texas A&M.
So the way that the schedule is set up, there is no possible way that Alabama or Texas A&M can finish the season with only one loss. If Alabama finishes the season with only one loss, then yes, they are in. However, that loss to Vanderbilt, because it's Vanderbilt, is going to hinder
But
them.
Vanderbilt beat Kentucky. Kentucky beat Ole Miss. I mean, I know transitive properties don't work in college football.
But you love to use them.
I do. They don't work, but I love to make note of them. That's for sure.
So here's what I have for revisiting the college football playoff. I have Texas at number 1. I don't foresee them losing to Georgia at home. I have Miami at number 2 because they are not going to lose a game this year. The ACC is down this year. Their talent level is far superior to that of the rest of the ACC. You have Oregon at 3. They're going to win out. They only have
they don't have much left.
Nope.
Yeah, they have their big games are Illinois, at Michigan, at Wisconsin, and a rivalry game against Washington. Now I put Washington on there for the notable games left because it's a rivalry game.
Sure. Yep.
Everybody plays up. Look at Tech in Georgia every single year. Last year, nobody expected anything out of Tech. They thought it was going to be a double-digit spread. However, it was a 6-point game, I believe.
So who do you got from the Big 12
So in the Big 12, this is a toss-up between Iowa State and BYU.
who don't play during the regular season?
Yes. So this is only going to benefit the Big 12 because of this. So I'm going to put BYU there at 4, Penn State at 5, UGA at 6, Iowa State at 7, SMU at 8, Ohio State at 9, Notre Dame at 10, provided that they win out, Boise State at 11, and then I have the winner of this weekend, Alabama or Tennessee, or it's going to be Clemson or the dark horse, Indiana. I don't foresee Pitt being able to rally the troops.
Probably not.
They have the bulk of their schedule left over. They're visiting Texas to go play SMU. And then also, they have Syracuse, who's a rival. They have Clemson, who should handle the business. And then also they have they're playing at Louisville, and they're playing at Boston College, coached by Bill O'Brien, who Boston College looks like a completely different team now. Thanks to
what they
BOB.
did the first of the year, yeah.
Isn't it kind of funny, though, when you look at it right now? And what are we going into, week 7? Week 8?
Yes, week 7.
The first 3 big losses of the season were Clemson, LSU, and Texas A&M. They're all still alive.
Clemson looks good.
They're all still alive, looking good.
Yeah.
I will say Texas A&M, they're already in the playoffs. Their playoffs are currently happening.
A lot of teams are like that.
I believe that.
There are a lot of games that are playoff games right now.
Yes.
I believe this Texas-Georgia game is a playoff game.
If Georgia loses to Texas this week, LSU or not LSU, Ole Miss Georgia will be a playoff game. The loser will go home.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that. All right, this is a lot to talk about, but we need to get on and do our brain train commercial because my head is spinning.
You are so good.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations. Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
But then again,
With Genty being the we're back?
Yes.
What happened to our countdown?
He did
was
count
counting.
down.
He
You
had
weren't
a
paying
point.
attention.
All sorts of
All
stuff
right.
going on.
Well, thanks, Meg and Melissa. We appreciate you sponsoring us for the three guys who love sports. Now, let me make you a reminder. Next week, the 23rd of October, we will not be here.
On location.
Miller's is sending us out on location. We're going to the KSU Liberty Blacklight Tailgate Party, and we're going to be broadcasting live from there from 4 to 6. We'll probably talk a little sports other than KSU, but mainly mostly KSU. But we'll have to talk about the Texas-Georgia game and some other things that happened this weekend. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and make our picks for college for the week. Last week, Chuck went 4-1 for the second week in a row. Robert went 2-3. Joe, our guest, went 3-2. Joe, good job, buddy. And Adam as well went 3-2.
Good job, Sparkles.
Thank you.
Yeah, way to go,
I tried.
Sparkles. Yeah. All right. So this week we have Notre Dame laying 11, and this game opened at 7.5 and went way up to 11 in one day.
You know, I'm all about this game, but I think we should have our guest because he's going to have a longer opinion than I have on this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it for both of them, right? Yeah, the spread is 11.5. I don't think the spread is going to be met. I do think Notre Dame will pull this one out. Georgia Tech is either going to keep it close or they're going to lose their way like they did against Syracuse and end up,
Well, I'll say if Haynes King plays,
yes.
I think Tech covers. If they don't, Tech, there's no way they can cover without Haynes King.
That's right, and it's really dependent upon what happens with Haynes King because,
Yeah.
I mean, he has just been absolutely phenomenal this year with the Jackets. If Haynes King plays, I am taking Tech for the points. However, I am going to use my brain and not my heart and take Notre Dame.
Oh, you go take Notre Dame.
Yep, I'm going to take Notre Dame, just given the fact that I'm saying Haynes King won't play.
Okay. All right. ATI, how about you, buddy?
Well, I think this could be a close game. It's Haynes King versus Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard actually looked good last week. He threw some touchdowns against Stanford for pretty much the first time all year. Jamal Haynes in the backfield for Georgia Tech. I'm actually going down to MBS to cover the game. So I'll take Tech.
All right. Robert, how about you, buddy?
I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think this game is close, and then there's a late touchdown that allows me to cover.
Okay. All right. Alabama -3 at Tennessee. Man, after Tennessee struggled with Alabama last week, with Florida, this becomes more of a guessing game for me.
Well, and this is one of the biggest rivalries in the world. Everybody only wants to talk about Alabama and Auburn, but Alabama's second biggest rival is Tennessee. It's hatred. that.
2 years ago when they were throwing things at Coach Saban on the field.
Most of you will never get to that state line where those two states touch because there ain't nothing there. But man, they do not like each other out in those
No,
woods.
they don't.
It's going to be a fun game. I'm taking the home team with all those fans behind them.
I'm going to take Alabama just because I just can't believe they can play 3 bad games in a row.
Well, I understand that, but man, that team cannot tackle.
Yeah.
They can score points, but man, they just seem to give it away. Well,
How about you, Ian?
Harris?
I'm taking Tennessee. And here's why: because Alabama is not the Alabama of old. They are the old.
Is it the coach? Is it what's the difference?
How did they beat Georgia?
So this is where Caleb DeBoer did his job, coached them up for that one game. However, though, with the SEC schedule going into that next week against Vanderbilt, everybody overlooked Vandy. That was a huge upset.
Everybody has overlooked Vandy all year. They're not a bad football team.
For the last 30 years.
They almost dropped the game to South Carolina at home. And now this week they're going into Tennessee, and I think Tennessee is going to go ahead and they're going to win that game.
They almost dropped their game to Florida at home, too.
However, though, and here's what I will say about that. Tennessee over the last 2 weeks, you had Tennessee lose to Arkansas. Arkansas, we don't know what they are, but we know they're a solid football team. As I look through the college football schedule to see, hey, who has Arkansas on the schedule? Anybody that's playing Arkansas might be in trouble for a second loss because Arkansas is a wild card team that you don't know what they're going to do. And you know what? They showed up against
So you're taking Tennessee
Yep.
Adam,
taking
how about
Tennessee
you?
Here.
You know, I think this is a classic rivalry game. Third Saturday in October, right? It's Jalen Milroe versus Nico Iamaleava. In the
for you to say.
Nico Iamaleava. In the words of a famous Alabama fan, Tennessee has a disgusting orange. It's not that orange you can sit with. It's that throw up orange. They low down, they dirty, they some snitches. So I'll take Bama.
All right. I got a question for you, Adam. Why
Yes.
is it always the quarterback versus the quarterback? It's like there's no other players on the field.
I mean, because that's who we pay attention to the most,
Right,
right? The
yeah.
Heisman is a quarterback trophy now.
Absolutely. I'm just asking. All right. Kentucky +5 at Florida. I am going to take the Gators. I think they're coming around a little bit. If they could play that well, I know Kentucky has trouble. Florida has trouble beating Kentucky at home, but I'm going to take the Gators. There's just something about me that thinks they're going to cover this week.
I'm going to take the Gators as well. This Gators team has been getting better week by week. And, it's kind of funny. At the beginning of the season, Texas A&M lost to Notre Dame, and then they beat Florida. And everybody, wow, this team can't do anything. Well, now you look at their schedule and their losses, and it's getting a little bit better in Gainesville. Not great. Guys probably still going to get fired, but
Yeah.
For this weekend, yeah, give me the Gators.
Adam?
Montrell Johnson versus Sumo Carnier, the running back matchup in this game.
Look at you.
DJ Lagway
like he was
is going to
listening.
start for Florida this week. He played
Graham
at
Mertz is toast, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
he played at the end of the Tennessee game. I love DJ Lagway. Played fantastic last week against Tennessee. Billy Napier's going to get fired this year. It's a matter of when, not if. So I'll take the Wildcats.
I'm taking the gasoline to throw on some more of that dumpster fire down there in Florida. Give me Kentucky. I know that they are a half-point underdog. However, I think Kentucky is going to go in, pull it out, go ahead and win that game. Give me Kentucky.
Let me ask you guys this question before we get to these last two games. If Kentucky goes to Gainesville and wins that game, is he the coach by the next time we sit in front of these microphones?
He's not
Billy
the coach
Napier?
by Sunday morning.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well, here's a team that just lost to Vandy.
Yeah.
When they come calling, and if they look good, I don't know that they'll be around.
Yeah,
Just
I
wondering.
don't think there are a lot of teams that want to fire their coach in the middle of the season, but could be. Yeah.
But that's one of the ones where
Yeah.
they might want to get out ahead of it so they can
Get
start,
this choice.
get their choice.
Yeah.
Now,
All right.
don't get me wrong. I don't love Kentucky, but in this matchup, give me
right.
Kentucky.
We're
Lots of
gonna
bourbon.
skip one. We're gonna do South Carolina +3 first at Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma was embarrassed last week by the
They
way
should have been.
Texas handled them, but I think they come back and they cover against South Carolina. So give me the Sooners. Boomer Sooner.
I want to say Boomer Sooner, but the way South Carolina has been playing this season, give me South Carolina. I know they're the underdog. I know they're going on the road, but man, South Carolina last
We got
week,
more disagreement this week than I
Yeah.
think we've had all year.
they look so much better this past week against Alabama than they have ever looked before. And so, give me South Carolina. I think that they are going to come in. They're going to light up the scoreboard, and it's going to be a touchdown game, but it's going to go South Carolina's direction.
All right, Adam.
Chuck, you only got one game wrong last week. This is the game you're getting wrong this week. Robbie Anderson versus whoever Oklahoma's freshman quarterback is. Oklahoma's got lacrosse players starting at receiver. I heard reports that defensive backs were playing receiver in practice. They don't have any receivers. Deion Burks is down.
Don't have anything.
Their top 6 receivers are hurt right now. Robbie Anderson hasn't been good, but he was good enough to get it done to almost get it done against Alabama. He threw a pick to Malachi Moore at the end of the game, and Malachi Moore almost took a knee in the end zone to send it to overtime. But I'll take South Carolina.
Robert.
I'm going to take South Carolina, too. I took them a couple weeks ago when their running back and quarterback got healthy, and LSU put them down quick. Looks like they're a little healthier after that Alabama game this past weekend. So, yeah, give me the Gamecocks.
All right, probably the biggest game of the weekend, Georgia at Texas. I am shocked beyond belief that this is only a 2.5-point spread. All right, Texas. by 120 points.
I'll take that spread.
Yeah, I might take that much, but I don't see Texas losing this game.
Hey, don't mark my
I'm
column.
sorry, right
You're
or
over
wrong
there
column.
marking my column.
Give me the Longhorns. That's Longhorns, right?
He
Hook 'em.
didn't
Hook
even
'em
know
horns.
how to do it, but
Hook
man,
'em
he's
horns.
taking them.
There you go. It's not even going to be. It's going to be ugly.
Well, I'm with you on this one. Even though we've had our discord so far in our picks, I love Texas in this game. They're playing at home. They're playing against a one-loss Georgia team. Texas has
Who
it
gave up
clicking.
31 points to Mississippi State at home.
Yep. Texas is clicking. Georgia has lost their way. This is going to be Georgia's second loss of the year and potentially
Bye-bye playoffs.
one more loss away from missing the playoffs because still on this calendar this year, Georgia has at Ole Miss versus Tennessee and, of course, their rival Tech.
The Jackets.
So,
Yeah. And they're lucky they're not playing Vandy this year.
yep, that's absolutely correct.
I'll let Robert be the heel on this one. Texas is good. Texas is the best team in the country. Quinn Ewers might be the best quarterback in the country. I love this Texas team. Isaiah Bond has been fantastic. They've got a great defense. Their defense could be better than we think it is right now.
Best offensive line in the country.
Yes, Georgia couldn't stop a nosebleed. They only beat Mississippi State by 10, the worst team in the SEC.
I don't think Georgia's covered this year.
No, I don't think they have at all. Georgia's defense isn't good. They don't have receivers to throw to. The receivers that he can throw to are in jail right now. I'll take the Longhorns.
He might have got sprung.
All right, Robert, you're going to be the lone wolf?
Oh, freaking A! If you mean winner, yes. So let me give you a couple stats for this daunting Texas team. They played 6 teams. You ready for those 6 teams ranking in offense for the year? 107, 102, 105, 105, 71, and 96. So they haven't seen anybody who's even decent, not even remotely decent. Their scoring defenses that they've gone up against, 156, 108, 32, 117. This is not, I'm not saying it's a bad team, don't get me wrong, but what you're basing everything on is games that have not been good against good opponents. Give me the Dogs. Dogs not only win this game, double digits. Mark it down. It's my 2-point game. Absolutely.
I'm writing it down.
No, it's gonna be an old-fashioned take you behind the shed and welcome to the SEC.
Now
Man,
we really need to be doing the Brain Train commercial because I'm really spitting. But we got other commercials to do. Adam, kick us off, buddy.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and I'm sure we could talk about this next week. Doesn't always fit into the big schedule picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of this final expense so that when your time does come, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact Ron and his team at 440-561-0758. That's 440-561-0758.
there we go. Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile, and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
That's right.
706-217-2095.
And thank you, Ron and Joshua, for being sponsors of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. Going to move on to a little bit to some pro football real quick. Falcons' big win in Carolina. They did more than beat somebody by less than a touchdown. 200-plus yards rushing after a 509-week passing game. Looks like they got it all.
It's the Panthers.
I know it is the Panthers, but
But the same way that you scoff when somebody has an issue with Mississippi State or something else, this is the Atlanta Falcons. They went to another city and they took care of their business.
Which is something they haven't done in the past.
And dare I say, handily, 18-point
No,
win.
I think it's handily, yeah. Plus, they scored first. Carolina scored first, right? They were up 7-0.
They did score first. I texted Robert when they scored first.
Yeah. So,
He's so mean like that.
but I hope you texted him at the end of the game when it was.
He didn't.
8-10.
I did not.
Oh, there you go.
And I save all of my Cowboy and Purdue love for the show.
So I'm very happy about the fact that and we talked about it last week, they need to win a ball game and not squeak by.
The offense needed to do something. They've been bailed out by the defense. They've been bailed out by the special teams. We needed to run the ball. Actually won a little bit of money on DraftKings because I subliminally predicted we were up big and we were going to give it to Algier a lot in the fourth quarter, and that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, with the Falcons this season so far, I mean, the only game they have truly lost has been against the Steelers. The Steelers, defensive scheme coming into Atlanta just dominated the front five or front seven. And really, I mean, what you saw with that matchup was just how good TJ Watt was and how much.
And we
of a
didn't run under
difference
center
maker
at
is.
all in that
Yeah,
game. That was
absolutely.
a shotgun game for Cousins.
Well,
Yeah.
and clearly the one game that we lost, we gave up 0 touchdowns and 6 field goals.
Yep.
So
Now, I will
That's not
say
bad.
that the Falcons, they have played the harder part of their schedule on the front end versus the back end.
Absolutely.
Yes, they have the Ravens still. Yes, they still have the Saints again at New Orleans, and they're playing at Minnesota, and at Washington. But I think the Falcons are looking to be in prime position for that South Division title.
They're 3-0 in the
Absolutely.
conference right now, right? Or in the division. No,
Correct.
it's conference, right?
It's division.
Division, that's right.
It's actually both.
Yeah. But
4-0 in the conference.
yeah,
Yeah.
4-0 in the conference, 3-0
3-0
in
in the division. All right, so, yeah, very happy with the Falcons. We can win at running. We can win at passing. And the defense I think, just keeps getting better.
They are. We
Yeah.
still can't put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but
That's true.
Thank you to the New England Patriots for sending us our second best defensive lineman,
Judon?
Absolutely.
Judon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean he's way better than everything we had.
And as much as I love that game, my favorite game of the weekend was 47 or 48-9. Which one was it? It was
47 to, I thought it was 47-6.
9. They kicked 3
Oh.
field goals. Yeah.
Did we kick the
Lions?
third field goal? Wow.
Lions go.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Lions just scored again.
Oh, wow.
I just got the word. It's now
scoring now.
54.
Yeah, well,
I think
Aiden
that was an
Hutchinson
offensive lineman
is,
again.
is
that's
out.
go-
So
that's gonna
they-
hurt the,
really the Lions
the
lost.
Lions. Yeah. Yeah.
Says the guy who is like burning flags and probably his pillowcase because he's probably got a big star on his pillowcase.
No, I don't have a big star on my pillowcase. The Cowboys are Micah Parsons is hurt, DeMarcus Lawrence is hurt, Deron
Everybody's
Bland is
hurt.
hurt,
Yeah.
Ken Carson is hurt. We have no DBs, we have no D line,
So
we have no linebackers.
when do they call it quits? And I understand Jer's in charge and all that other good stuff, but this team clearly needs to be rebuilt and not just a player added, a player, and I don't know that he does that. So I think, welcome to your future until
Until
further
and Jerry are
until
gone.
he's gone.
Trade Dak Prescott, rebuild around CeeDee Lamb
Yeah.
and
No,
Micah Parsons.
That's the only
never have a
only
high-
hope they have. But
Never have a high-priced wide receiver.
Nobody's gonna want
with
Dak
nobody
Prescott.
to throw to build around. That is way down the line.
Formula for
Nobody
disaster.
wants Dak Prescott.
Go get Jalen Milrow.
Nobody wants Dak Prescott. He's horrible.
Well,
Take
horrible.
Milrow though.
I think the Browns would take Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Probably so.
And they'll
They'll
wind up
take anybody
They
with a
probably
heart-
trade-
with a-
Yeah,
with
they
a
took
heart.
Everything
Deshaun
you ever
Watson.
wanted.
So, yeah.
Make the Herschel
So real
Walker.
quick, because we got to move on because Ian's got to scoot out. Real quick, best rookie so far, best rookie quarterback.
Jaden Daniels.
100%.
Yeah. We'll still go with Jaden. Williams is coming around.
He is playing better.
I know.
Bo Nix is coming around.
Yes, and Bo
It's
Nix
true.
is coming around. However,
Bo Picks doesn't look as bad as he did a couple weeks ago.
the ability for Caleb Williams, I mean, he has the highest ceiling, obviously. Just his talent level, his potential highest ceiling. Caleb Williams is fantastic. However, Jaden Daniels has just looked like he has been playing. he looks much better than a lot of the rookies from last season's class outside of C.J. Stroud. He's a
Got better
man
than
who's
Will
a
Class
Levis.
above, yeah.
He looks like
Will
a
Levis.
Heisman winner.
He
Will
does,
Levis,
doesn't he?
they're already chiseling his bust for Canton.
All right.
That guy looks good.
All right, so let's get
No, he
let's
doesn't.
get our last commercial in, and we'll reel off some NFL picks as well.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access in their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, including some Falcons games. Look us up at American Access or give us a call at 678-763-3635. That's right, 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. We got our American Axe right here.
He likes to be called Axe Man.
Axe Man.
The Axe Man.
That's pretty cool. Speaking of cutting out, axe, cutting. Ian has to leave us a few minutes early today, so we're going to let him go ahead and make his 5 pro picks, and then me and Adam and Robert will discuss those games in more detail.
Can we make fun of Ian's picks when
Go
we're...
for
Yes.
it, by all means.
Oh,
please.
absolutely. Please make sure you watch the end of the show later, Ian, because we're going to
Yes.
be nailing you.
Yeah. So look,
Whoa, pause.
Houston going into Green Bay. Give me Houston for the points. They will lose that game. I think that Houston will cover for the points. Green Bay will win that
2.5
game.
points, so that'd be tough to cover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're losing.
All right.
So Detroit, give me Detroit on the road at Minnesota. I know Minnesota is undefeated. However, Minnesota has not really played anybody. So give me Detroit. They look fantastic. They just involved every single person on the offense last week. Looking ahead to San Francisco or Kansas City at San Francisco, give me San Fran. They're going to make a good homestand. Everybody is healthy there outside of the running game. However, though, running backs, thanks to the contracts, are a dime a dozen these days. Give me San Fran. Baltimore at Tampa Bay. Baltimore will run away with this one. Baltimore has looked increasingly better every single week.
Every week.
And they are going to be a team to be reckoned with. Starting off slow at 0-2, they're going to come into Tampa and keep that streak alive, that winning streak alive.
You remember Denver beat Tampa in Tampa.
Yep. And, Seattle at Atlanta. Give me Atlanta. Kirk Cousins has looked fantastic. The offense is humming. The offense is doing the job. Defense is making the stands when they need to and where they need to. So give me Atlanta. They're just a superior team to Seattle at this point, even though Geno Smith is still doing his thing, still getting the ball, distributing the ball, and one of the best comeback players of all time. But give me the Falcons because, we're here in Atlanta.
Isn't it crazy how many comeback players are former Jets quarterbacks who are just on a different team?
Sam Darnold,
Geno.
Geno Smith.
Isn't there somebody else I'm missing?
Speaking of
Not
which,
Zach Wilson.
Not Zach.
the last time that Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl was the same year that the last time the Jets made the AFC Championship game. Steelers beat the Jets in the AFC Championship game, went on to play the Super Bowl against Aaron Rodgers, and thanks to one bad fumble later, Aaron Rodgers has his one Super Bowl ring. In that time between, we've seen a complete divergence of what happened to one player in a franchise versus one franchise that just went downhill very quickly with the Jets. The Jets, even though they added Devontae Adams this week.
Was this on the agenda or just something you decided to throw in?
I'm just throwing this in.
Oh, okay.
Even though because this isn't a game that's on the list, but the Jets are going to go play in Pittsburgh this week, and even with Devontae
Oh,
Adams,
that's why you.
And I need the
It's
Jets
not-
defense to play well.
it's not
They
going to
will.
help them. I think we may see Russell Wilson this weekend for the first time, but give me the Steelers this weekend against the Jets as well. So,
All right. Well, Ian, we appreciate you stepping in with us, brother.
Oh yeah, always a
Big-
pleasure.
Big plus. They miss you already, Ian, but Ian's got to go to a ball practice. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, basketball practice.
Basketball practice. So
Hoop time.
you little hoopers. So here we go.
there you
Are
go.
they on the 8-foot?
Oh yeah, 8 foot rim,
I could
8
probably
under.
still jam on an 8-foot rim.
I'd like to see
I
that,
can
Chuck.
jam on an 8-foot rim.
I'd like to see both of you.
I think I could.
Give me an 8-foot rim.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
Maybe
Well,
we'll
thanks,
just go
Ian.
meet Ian.
Adam,
here
you
in a
will
minute.
join us over here for the last for the
Yes,
picks?
yes, I will.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Be careful.
Be good.
All right. So we'll go back to the top, and we'll go to Houston and Green Bay. Robert, you want to kick us off?
Houston's looked incredible. Green Bay, Green Bay's one of those crazy teams to me because I did not expect Jordan Love to have the success he did last year, and then they did nothing to help him, and he's still doing good. But I'll take the Strouds. I think this is a
Stroud.
I think this is a Stroud game.
I'm going to take the Packers. Again, at home, and again, they get a little bit better every week. But, in the NFL, I'm actually 12-3 in the NFL in the last 3 weeks. No, I think I'm 11-2, actually. But I just can't mess up in the NFL. But this is probably the week that I will. But I'm going to take the Packers.
And what did we go last week? 4-1 and 4-1, the two of us?
Yeah, you and I were both 4-1. Joe, our guest, was 5-0.
Bam, bam.
Joe, look at you. Look at you, Mr.
Is
Reese.
that the first time anybody's been
5-0.
5-0?
This year.
Might have. I don't know.
This year.
And Adam was 3-2.
Yeah.
So Adam was in last place?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say he
his
was in
face
fourth
is
place.
not in the little our new mascot.
I'm not
here.
I am not in the bobblehead. I don't really want my face in the bobblehead. I'm good.
Yeah. So well, you just keep sucking and it won't be in there. I
Yeah,
promise.
don't worry. I'm probably not going to be there.
All right. So Adam, who you got in Houston and Green Bay?
Well, it's Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon. That's the running back matchup in this one.
Is Mixon back?
Yes, Joe
Had a
Mixon
huge
is
game
back
last week.
Big game. Christian Watson and Stephon Diggs are the receivers. Tank Dell had a big week last week. Unfortunately, I sat him on my bench, so he didn't really help me. But it's the Strouds.
Is this a fantasy football league show or is
It's close.
It might be.
It's morphing into it.
It's the Strouds and the Packers. I do love me the Strouds, so I'll take the Strouds.
All right.
Technically, you're the one who first called him the Strouds.
I am the one who first called them the
All right.
Strouds.
Game number 2, Detroit plus 2.5 at Minnesota. I think the loss of Aiden Hutchinson is going to hurt Detroit more than they think. I think Minnesota stays undefeated.
I think you're absolutely right, but not because of that. Minnesota had a bye, and you could not have played a better week of football than the Lions did.
That's for sure.
And somewhere you got to come back down to earth, and I think it happens quickly for them. Although Aiden Hutchinson is going to hurt.
So you take Minnesota?
I am.
All right. Adam,
It's
how about you?
Justin Jefferson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, fantastic receivers for both top 10 in the league, I think. I love this Minnesota team. I think I said it from the start of the season. Sam Darnold has been fantastic this year. Jordan Addison has been good this year. I like the Detroit team with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery and whoever else is on the Lions. Yes, but the loss of Aiden Hutchinson really hurts that Detroit defensive line. So I'll take the Vikings and hope they go to, what would it be, 6-0?
They'd be
7-0?
still undefeated.
6-0.
It'd be 6-0.
And not to turn this into the fantasy corner, but one of the Lions' problems is they've got one of the 3 best tight ends in football.
Sam Laporta.
Do you know how many targets he had last week?
Very few.
1. He
Yeah.
caught it for a
52-yard
52-yard touchdown. But if you're not getting your best players the ball, it's not going to work out. And I see that catching up with them soon.
All right.
Now that Ian's gone, he has a really big head. I don't know that his face is gonna fit in the bobblehead.
Well, I don't think, based on his picks, he'll have to worry about that. But we'll see.
Never can tell.
All right. Kansas City plus 1.5 against the 49ers next week.
What a fun game.
I'm a little
This is
surprised the
gonna be a great
49ers
game.
are favored, but I think they got more injuries than they need to deal with at San Francisco. I'm going to take the Chiefs to also stay undefeated.
I think the line is set there because everybody's expecting sooner or later they will lose, and that love of the Shanahan running game where basically he can take ATI and turn him into an all-pro for a week.
I'd be a great quarterback for the 49ers.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I said running back. So,
Okay,
so I'm
I'd
not
be
sure
a
you'd
great
be
running
there
back
either.
for the 49ers. I would be fantastic at any position for the 49ers.
San Fran for me.
San Fran. And Adam?
This is a 49ers team that they've had their ups and downs this year. Losing to Arizona was certainly a down. Kansas City is a toe.
Yeah,
and
they're 3-3, aren't they, San Francisco?
I think I think that's right. I think they're 3-3, still leading the division. They beat the Sea Chickens last week.
3-3.
Yes. They are tied with the Sea Chickens, but they're technically leading the division because they beat the Sea Chickens.
Like the Falcons are.
Yes. Kansas City is a toe and a pass interference away, and 2 pass interference calls away from starting the season 0-3. I think that luck finally catches up to them. I think Brock Purdy and the Niners get it done this week.
All right, 3 San fans in the KC. I'm the lone wolf on that one. I like it. Baltimore -3.5 at Tampa Bay. I am going to take Baltimore mainly because I want them to beat Tampa Bay, so we'll have another game lead in the NFC South. So give me the Ravens.
The Tampa Bay Saints game this weekend was a fantastic game. The
17-0, and then here comes New Orleans.
And then New Orleans scores 27 in the second quarter. That was an amazing
but that's
game.
all they scored.
Yes. Yeah, that was you can't say enough about the job that Spencer Rattler did in his first start. No, this is a good Tampa Bay defense. They've got some pieces offensively. They've got Bucky Irving. They've got Rashad White. They've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. But I love this Baltimore team. They're on a roll this year. Lamar is one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. He's spreading the ball around. They've won several close games. They beat Jaden Daniels this week. They beat Joe Burrow last week. I think that the Ravens keep the roll going, and I'm taking Baltimore.
It's crazy that this team started out 0-2, and we were so worried about them because right now it's hard to imagine them losing any of these types of games. They look so good and so comfortable. I'll take the Ravens. Partly maybe for the same reason Chuck is, and partly maybe just because they're that good. But, yeah.
That's the only game out of all of them that we've all picked the same team.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
That's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
Bet the farm the other way.
I would take Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield.
And our last pick of the game of the week is obviously the Falcons hosting the Sea Chickens. I remember a game not too long ago when we beat Seattle in Seattle, which is a tough thing to do. They've got a good 12th man out there, very tough place to play. They were 3-0, and now they've lost their last 3 games. So I don't know what they're losing, but as they continue to weaken, I think we get stronger every week. And like I said, I was so impressed by the running game this week. 1 week is passing, 1 week is running, and it seems like Robinson and Raheem Morris are doing what they need to do to plan properly and attack the defense and let the offense take what they're giving them. So I'm going with the Falcons again this week.
Going with them Falcons.
Yeah.
I like this Seattle team. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. They've got a great running game. Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Walker's been one of the best backs in the league. It's the Falcons played very well against the Panthers. I will give them that. I did pick Andy Dalton last week to beat the Falcons. And you know what? I'm doubling down. Give me Geno Smith and the Sea Chickens.
Boo.
Well, the one thing the Sea Chickens usually do is keep a game close. And
it's true.
When we go up, he's going to throw a couple haymakers to his very tall and very physical wide receiving staff.
DK Metcalf.
And we'll see how it goes. I'll take the Falcons. They're going to win by 0.5 point or 1.5. This will be that close.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
I don't think they can win by 0.5 point.
They can when I'm gambling.
Just say.
But can't they? I mean, again, just like we thought, they've got to beat Carolina, and they've got to beat them in the last minute. I kind of feel the same way this week. They've got to step forward and stop winning close games.
You have to win the games you're supposed to win.
Yeah, and by more than 2.5.
Yes,
so
true.
I'm going to say the Falcons by a touchdown. But I'd love to see it happen. Love to see them beat them by 20. But I just don't see it happen. Again, the defense continues to get better. A.J. Terrell had his first pick in 40 years or something like that on Sunday and stopped the last drive.
It's the greatest day for a 25-year-old ever. This is the first time I've had a pick since I was negative 15.
Yeah. So good games this weekend. Really, the 5 college games we picked were really the only ones that are really out there. There weren't a lot of other good games.
There's a Purdue-Oregon game on Friday night.
That's
do you
why I didn't pick
remember
that one.
what happened?
22.5, right?
It's 27.5.
27.5.
Do you remember what happened
the
the
Ducks.
last time a top 2 ranked team played in West Lafayette at night?
Tell me.
No, but I'm sure you do.
We beat Ohio State by 29.
Yeah, guess what? You might lose by 29, but you're not going to win.
We've got
by
Ryan
29.
Brown starting at quarterback.
If they beat Oregon by 29,
Yes.
I will personally take your picture and put it in this box.
I'll take it.
All right. Great show today, guys. Adam, Robert, a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody coming out. Don't forget, American Axis goes this week to Houston, to Detroit, to San Francisco, to Tampa Bay, and to the Sea Chickens. So until next week, guys, don't forget, know your numbers, cover your ass, get that prostate checked. We'll see you next week.